Back here now, and high in cost and controversy, giving the go-ahead to the HS2 rail project was always going to be a big call. Today, the Prime Minister shunted the arguments against into the sidings to highlight what he called the fundamental benefits of getting on with it. Work on the southern section between Birmingham and London will step up within weeks. The northern section to Leeds and Manchester also got the go-ahead, but there will be yet another review to see how to integrate it into wider network upgrades.
This evening, the nightly slog home for rail users in Birmingham. The main line here dates back to the 1830s and is creaking at the seams. This afternoon, the excavators were out to showcase government solution. £8 billion already spent. And as the Prime Minister believes, in a hole the size of HS2, you've got to keep digging.
This is a fantastic project for the country. It delivers massive increase in capacity for rail up from north to south, from south to north, and then it allows us to go forward and develop Northern Powerhouse Rail, which is exactly what is needed. You need connectivity east-west in the north. That's the crucial thing.
HS2's first phase is from London to Birmingham, due to open by 2031. The next phase is to Crewe, Leeds and Manchester, which may not be complete until 2040. Phase 1 was originally estimated to cost almost £33 billion. Today, the Prime Minister said it could reach £45 billion.
Today, HS2 got over its biggest current challenge. Ahead now, up to 20 years of hard slog to get this network into full service. And still, some doubt the government's resolve and ability to get this job done.
Commuter Emma Pearce's Birmingham to London travel shrinks from 1 hour 20 to 45 minutes. But tonight, even she has questions.
When is it going to come? And actually, of course, the cost as well. We've been talking about it for, frankly, so many years now. I certainly wouldn't be holding my breath.
Criticising management of this 225-mile-an-hour project, the Prime Minister promised a new HS2 minister. Greater Manchester's elected mayor is not breathing a sigh of relief.
Grand promises of infrastructure in the 2030s or 2040s. Well, all right, but what about now? You know, what are you going to do to help bring better services to people in the next decade?
£5 billion will also be spent on buses and cycle lanes, a nifty attempt to offset grumbles from communities bypassed by new super trains. And at this shopping centre in Wigan, bosses want to know when more will be spent on trains beyond HS2, improved east-west links known as Northern Powerhouse Rail.
There is a north-south divide. We do tend to be sort of like cut off from various other parts of the country. I think also it could regenerate, you know, not just Wigan, but other areas around Wigan.
As building now gears up, HS2 is heading to 67 constituencies, many with MPs opposed to it. It was hard to see where division would come from for this new government. The answer could be approaching at high speed. Chris Choi, News at 10 in Birmingham.
Well, many of those living along the route of HS2 will suffer terrible disruption and even the loss of their homes without any of the benefits because trains won't be stopping anywhere nearby. HS2 has admitted that more than 1,700 buildings will be demolished in the course of building the high-speed line, and that includes nearly 900 homes. A further 985 business premises will also be destroyed, and the line will cut through ancient forests, putting 60 irreplaceable woodlands at risk of damage or destruction.
HS2 is definitely coming through the Warwickshire countryside. But in Kenilworth, these initial works mark the start of years of heavy construction and a crash in the value of property nearby.
There's the house, and up here where the coloured panels are, that's where HS2 is going to go.
Vicky Shanks hasn't been paid yet for the land HS2 have started developing. She's got many happy memories of raising her family in this house, but she feels trapped.
The only options I have are to stay and put up with the construction work, or sell to HS2 at a lower price than I would otherwise get. Putting it on the open market isn't an option because nobody would look at it. I've already been told by loads of estate agents that they wouldn't even put it on their books because it's too unknown. Once the construction's finished, people will look at it and possibly buy it, but at this point there's no way anyone would take a chance on it.
And go deeper into the countryside and you'll find further opposition to HS2. This camp was set up last year to protect the ancient woodland that's going to be destroyed.
If you came back here in 10 years' time, if HS2 goes ahead, what you will see is concrete pretty much as far as the eye can see.
The landscape here means so much to Brenda Hillier. She stays overnight in all weathers.
First time I was here, I walked down to the little brook at the bottom and I looked around and I thought, how could anybody just carve through this and wipe it out? Sorry.
People really care about what happens here. There was delight when Kenilworth Station reopened in 2018. And even though HS2 won't stop here, that's not a problem for everyone.
I think it just makes it easier for people to get past Kenilworth rather than stop in Kenilworth.
I think now they've spent quite a lot of money already. I'm quite glad that they are now going to go ahead with it.
I think it's a good idea. Anything to improve the infrastructure of the country.
Local businesses will get £74,000 from HS2 to help with the disruption caused by the build.
6 out of the 8 roads into Kenilworth are going to be closed during the construction period, and we really want to make sure that people still come here.
Residents say this town is resilient, but there's no doubt high-speed rail will come at a huge cost to this community. Stacey Foster, News at 10, Kenilworth.
And Robert joins us now. The Prime Minister's given this its green light despite the opposition within his own ranks, but I suppose he's at that stage where he knows he can pretty much overcome it, presumably.
Well, look, he's going to face lots of criticism, particularly from his own MPs. As it happens, I think he can count on the support of lots of Labour MPs who rather favour this kind of investment, but Tories who live in rural areas, particularly in the south, are worried about the destruction of ancient pasture, ancient woodland. The spiralling costs are a widespread concern, even, let's be clear, to his most influential advisor, Dominic Cummings, who has been opposed to HS2. And, you know, within government, truthfully, there's not a lot of confidence that even this extraordinary 106 billion number is robust. But we know two things about the Prime Minister. One is he loves big projects. He loves buses, he loves bikes, he loves bridges, and he loves rail. And he also knows, and this is decent economics, that when you invest in infrastructure, it boosts productivity, boosts growth. He made a promise in the general election to level up the north. And there is a fair amount of evidence that if you massively invest in things like rail in the north, economic conditions will improve over time. But it won't be overnight. There are big political and indeed risks to the public purse here. But amazingly, only a few weeks after winning that election, he's thinking about his legacy, and he wants his legacy to be this astonishingly ambitious rail project.